AMC is coming down to test a major level of support at around $10, which is where shares had bottomed when you adjust for the split in 2021, also in 2020. So we bottomed out at this level on 4 separate occasions during 2020 and 2021. Therefore, I believe this support level could act as kind of a bungee cord for the stock, and we could see this level hold for shares. So what I'll do in today's video is I'm going to go over the recent news quickly. I'll go over some other things that you should know about AMC. I'll go over short interests, and at the end of the video, I will give you a price prediction based on technical analysis. So with that being said, let's dive into the news of the day here. So in pre-market trading on Wednesday, obviously the stock is falling, and the company announced that they have registered to sell up to 40 million shares of their Class A shares. In the filing, CEO said it has entered into an equity distribution agreement with Citigroup, Barclays, B. Riley, and Goldman Sachs, with the investment banks acting as sales agents on the behalf of AMC. The proceeds from the offering will be used to boost the company's liquidity, repay, finance, or redeem debt for general corporate purposes. So obviously the company is in a spot where they really need more cash on hand. So they're really just kind of fighting to keep the company alive at this point. And that's really unfortunate because the business really hasn't been better in quite a long time. And it's because all of these awesome movies that we're seeing come out, and it's driving people to the theaters. So AMC, the world's biggest theater chain, says that their Eras Tour film shattered its record for single-day advance ticket sales, about $26 million in revenue, topping AMC's former record of selling $16.9 million in a single day for Spider-Man, and that's beating by almost $10 million. So a massive record beat for this Taylor Swift movie. And then meanwhile, the Alamo Drafthouse chain said Barbie had become the highest grossing title in its history, surpassing Avengers Endgame. So those ticket sales are up 29% from 2022 to date. And then this week, a newcomer arrives via Denzel Washington's Equalizer 3, an R-rated action sequel, drew 3.8 million in Thursday previews. So this is kind of last week's news, but at the end of the day, it shows you that butts are being put in seats in AMC theaters. When this stock was trading, much higher than it is right now, during the 2021 highs, that was when there weren't anyone in theaters, right? It was COVID. But now that the business has turned around, we're seeing that stock price completely disconnect with reality and AMC's underlying business. And then I'll read out a couple points from this article from Reality Check Research on Seeking Alpha. So AMC Entertainment Holdings recently achieved its best admissions revenue in the company's 103-year history. Despite the summer box office success, investor sentiment is still overwhelmingly negative due to AMC's recent equity dilution and high debt. This data shows that consumers' willingness to forgo streaming at home and make the trip to movie theaters under the right circumstances. So if Hollywood can continue to put out original content that gets people excited, AMC will continue to significantly benefit. We know markets are not always rational when it comes to company fundamentals, as I just said, and AMC is absolutely no exception. Momentum can play a huge role, especially given how beaten down AMC's stock is year to date. If management can generate enough confidence from institutional investors after the summer's success to garner financing for day-to-day operations and avoid bankruptcy, well, watch out. So all really AMC has to do here is avoid bankruptcy, and I think this stock likely continues higher over the coming weeks. And if you think about what made the stock rise in 2020, well, it was the company avoiding bankruptcy. Funny enough, though, there's actually a reason to avoid it, right? We have a massive new interest in movies, right? And then we can take a look that this summer's this summer had revealed something that went against the ongoing narrative of consumers foregoing movie theaters for at-home streaming. We all know how many box office hits there were this year, and in my opinion, it's clear that consumers at least have a willingness to go to movie theaters under the right circumstances. July was an absolutely knockout month for this industry, and we can see kind of the box office numbers here for AMC, or for the general industry here. Obviously, Barbie did a great job. Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Super Mario Bros, Ant-Man. I watched that one myself, pretty good. John Wick, another good film. So these are all putting butts in the seats of AMC theaters, which is obviously a great thing fundamentally for this stock, right? But with that being said, we obviously know the fundamentals aren't really driving price action day to day for this stock, unfortunately. So with that being said, let's take a look at some of the short interest numbers for this stock. So we can see here that almost 30% of the stock is sold short, and we have 5 days to cover. Given that 30% of the stock is sold short, that's definitely a signal that short sellers are pretty heavy into AMC. And then we can see here that the short shares available have dropped over the last day or so, which tells you that there's more shorting activity going on. And then unfortunately here, short borrow fee rates have dropped off a cliff. So just last month on the 25th, we had 739% short borrow fee rate. The higher this number goes, the more expensive it gets for shorts to short the stock. This has dropped significantly, which signals that it's cheaper for shorts to jump into the stock, which honestly isn't a good thing for AMC, but it is what it is, just kind of reporting reality there. And then with that being said, let's take a quick look at some of the firms that are short this stock. So, Simplex Trading short 7 million shares. Normad Holdings short 3 million shares. Millennium Management, one of the most prominent hedge funds in the world, short a bunch of shares here. And then we could see EMG Holdings short 11 million shares. Penwater Capital short 22 million shares, although they actually sold some of their shorts, some of their puts, I should say, last quarter. And then we can also see here that Ursa Fund Management is short 8 million shares, although they pared back their puts by 25% over the past quarter. With that being said, let's take a look at the failure to deliver numbers. So the higher this number is, basically means the more likely a short squeeze is to take place. We've seen a kind of comeback in failing to deliver numbers. We've seen that comeback over the past couple months here. You can see it here through this chart. So obviously we're not at 2021 levels, but we are sustaining the highest number of failing to deliver numbers for AMC. As we can see in 2021, it jumped around a lot. Even in 2023 in April, it jumped around a lot. But now it's just really been very, very consistent. We've had high failure to deliver numbers. For those that don't know, that basically means that a short seller isn't delivering the shares that they had promised to deliver. So it really just means that within the next 60 days, you're going to have to see basically, in this case, 4.2 million shares bought, or the SEC will come after the firms that are naked shorting. So naked shorting is technically illegal, but it kind of happens through this failure to deliver dynamic, and that really just unfortunately allows large institutions to essentially short the stock naked for 60 days. So if they don't actually buy the shares back within 60 days, the SEC comes after them. It's a whole rigmarole. So that is interesting there. And then with that being said, though, let's take a look at the chart and give a logical price prediction based on technical analysis. Obviously, this is not financial advice, do your own research, but we're coming down to that $10 support level, as I had said, which is where shares had bottomed, pre kind of the whole meme craze, and we saw the stock, when adjusted for the recent split, move up to almost $400. So interesting there, Could we see another move to 10 to 400? Not sure. It would be tough. I'm not really calling for that, but I do think we see a significant move higher for AMC over the coming weeks as the stock holds this support level and likely moves higher off this level. So, thinking that we hang in here and the stock holds this level, we see it move higher at least over the coming days to about $14. Obviously, that's kind of just what I'm seeing in the chart. Do your own research. Also, it's worth noting that shares are oversold according to RSI, and the last time shares were oversold was June 23rd, and we saw the stock move from 36 to 50 over the coming weeks. The time before that, we saw shares oversold on the 28th of December in 2022. We saw shares rebound off of that $24 support level and moved up to $70 over the coming weeks. And then the instance before that, we saw a oversold reading on the stock was in May on the 13th of 2022, and the stock was at $54. In the coming weeks, it moved to $150. And I'll keep going. And then in January of 2022, the stock was at $74 when we were oversold. And then in the coming weeks, we moved up to $180. So the stock has a history of reacting positively to oversold conditions. I could keep going here, so I'll do it just for fun here. But in early 2021, shares were oversold at about $10 where we are right now. Obviously, shares jumped to $100 in the coming weeks. And then even before that, shares were around $10. They were oversold on November 4th of 2020. Oversold, and they were at about $10, and they moved to $24 over the coming weeks. Even before that, in March of 2020, shares had bottomed at about $10, and they moved higher over the coming weeks to about $35. So that tells you that the stock really does react positively to oversold conditions. And let's kind of add it up here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the last 7 times the stock was oversold, we saw a move higher. I'll repeat. The last 7 times we saw the stock oversold, it moved higher. And not just like $1 or $2. It, almost 2x'd in the coming weeks. So what does this tell me? This tells me that the stock reacts positively to oversold conditions. We're coming down to a major support level at around $10. You add those two factors together, I believe AMC likely holds this level, moves higher over the coming weeks. Will it be a rocky ride? Almost certainly. But at the end of the day, the chart, purely the chart, not even talking about the fundamentals right now, which are improving for the stock, purely the chart, not even talking about short interest, which I think does provide some potential for a catalyst in terms of a short squeeze. Simply looking at the chart, over the past 7 times we've had oversold conditions, the stock has moved higher in the coming weeks. And we're coming down to this major support level, which is where shares had bottomed 4 times in 2020 and 2021. So major support level, oversold conditions. I do believe the combination of those two lead to shares moving higher over the coming weeks. So that's my analysis on AMC. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did. And let me know in the comments your thoughts on the stock. So with that being said, I'll end the video there. If you got some value from this video, please leave a like. We post company breakdowns and important market moving news on this channel on a daily basis, so make sure you are subscribed. If you would like to receive my daily portfolio moves, my exits, my entries, and see how me and my team of analysts are trading the markets, join the Discord through the link in the description below to get our free 7-day trial. Also, if you would like to join our free daily newsletter, sign up to our Substack, which is linked below as well. With that being said, good luck, everyone. Happy trading, happy investing.